Mitch McConnell expecting the U.S. to react to the suspected death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Kentucky Senator told press earlier today, quote, that he can't imagine that there will be no response to the journalist's apparent death. Now, in stressing caution to the matter, McConnell said that he wants to hear what Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has to say before he decides what he thinks he should do. The Secretary of State has suggested the Saudi government will conduct a transparent investigation into the matter and hold anyone they find to be behind it accountable. One America's Jack Posobiec sat down with the founder of Disobedient Media to talk about some of the political consequences of the Khashoggi situation.
I'd like to welcome back to One American News, William Craddock, the founder of Disobedient Media. We're sitting down, and I just read your excellent piece on Saudi Arabia, the potential for a civil war in Saudi Arabia, as well as we're now looking at the fallout of the death, and we're calling it the death, the killing at this point, of Jamal Khashoggi. So, William, walk us through this. Why did this happen, and why is this such an issue for the kingdom? Since
Mohammed bin Salman has taken the throne, or has begun his path to ascend to the throne, has been locked within a civil conflict between not only members of the royal family, but also other elites within Saudi Arabia. And this has been leading to a lot of strife internally. There's some who feel that in some cases it's actually resulted in some violent action being taken by both sides against each other. And it's no surprise to see it now potentially spilling out into the international community with Mr. Khashoggi's disappearance.
Do you think that Mohammed bin Salman ordered the death or disappearance of Khashoggi, or is this something that was done in effect to make Mohammed bin Salman look bad?
It's hard to say. When you consider some of the terror connections that Khashoggi's associates could have had, it does raise the question that a private group who had individuals working for them within the Saudi government, or may have had some sort of sympathizers, could have taken action against him. These types of operations, unless it's a very specific, sensitive operation, usually you won't see the head of state personally involved in a matter like that. So it's very possible that the king and crown prince of Saudi Arabia didn't know exactly what was going on until it had actually happened.
That makes a lot of sense, and that would certainly comport with sort of the cover story that they've put in place, that it was an interrogation gone wrong, though I don't think that anybody really buys that, but everyone's sort of going along with it because, as President Trump's looking at it, he doesn't want to sever the relationship between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia over something like this.
Yeah, from the Saudis' perspective, if this really was a private party using members of the security forces to pursue a personal objective like this, and brazenly doing it using their property within their own embassy, this is diplomatically very embarrassing for Saudi Arabia.
What sort of factors are you looking at in terms of internally in Saudi Arabia?
It does really seem like certain factions internationally and within the United States are in support of general destabilization for the Middle East so that it can be redrawn or recrafted strategically in a way that benefits them.
So bottom line, if they're not able to quell this, and if it does start exploding, if their economy does hit that free fall cliff with the oil situation, do you think it's possible that they see an internal struggle or a civil war type conflict?
Well, they're already seeing a conflict that is certainly cold. I'd hate to see what happens when it goes hot. But an economic slowdown would no doubt aggravate the situation, would make things much more difficult for the royal family, particularly in the eastern regions of Saudi Arabia, where they've had problems with the Shia communities. And absolutely, we could be seeing a very big problem and eventually a potential open shooting war between different factions within Saudi Arabia.
William Craddock, you're a wealth of information. We're always honored to have you on and to get your expertise on this. Thank you very much.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.